Hello. Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Moto, please, you can tune down the music a little. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in on time. Really appreciate. I can see our speaker here. Yeah, I'm just so much excited about today's event. And I intentionally had to come and host this from my very self. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that joined by Heli. I could see Ayeni, Bamidele, Pame, Enyola, Temitope, Kate, Mori, Miracle, Moira, Miturayo, Ukechi, Roots, Gloria, Samuel, and I also saw Adams. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Of course, so I'm going to thank myself. Yes, can you all hear me?
Okay, you'll be okay. I can hear you.
All right, great. It's great. All right. You can go ahead, Sam.
Okay, good. So you guys, you'll be sharing the slide, correct?
Yes, we will.
All right. So let me know if I need to start.
Okay. Yeah. Motoria, please, what's up? All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see. I can see your screen.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think the screen went up already, but it's fine. Okay, good. So, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here this evening. And interestingly, in this session is about how to position yourself rightly in the 21st century tech world. So one of the first rules of positioning yourself is to be seen, visibility. So it would be great if I can get to see the people I'll be speaking with. Just that's why I intentionally came on camera so I can see everyone, so you can see me. All right. So can you take it to the first slide, please? And if you okay, if you can, okay, good, that works. So can you all hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, you can.
Yes, please.
All right, great. So should I be looking forward to having you guys come on camera, especially for today's session? So while I wait to see your faces, we'll get started. So today I want us to talk about the art of seeking attention. Even though the theme of this session is rightly positioning yourself in the 21st century tech world, I really want us to drill it down to personal branding. Because when we talk about positioning yourself, no matter how you look at it, it boils down to personal branding. So quickly, let me give a quick introduction. My name is David Idagu, and I'm a public relations and communications consultant, currently the Africa Regional Lead for a New York-based public relations agency, Small Media. And I actually thought this session was on Zoom. I'm not very conversant with Google Meet. So thank you, Birunke, for helping me share the screen. So
yeah, apologies for
if
that.
you can hear me.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I actually want to see how do I get to see the class, the engagement from the class? How do I get feedback? Because I want this session to really be an interactive session. I want you to be able to ask me questions during the course of the session. And if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat. Yeah. I see the chat coming in.
Okay.
Good. I see the chat coming in. So please, how I like to have my sessions. I like to have it as interactive as possible. The success, or what I will consider a successful session, is that at the end of this 1 hour that we'll be spending here, you'll be able to have, takeaways, specific takeaways that you can implement almost immediately at the end of the session. So for me to be able to deliver that to you, I would like to, get your feedback. Even during the course of my session, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I also want to have an engaged audience. So if what I'm saying is making sense to you, feel free to drop it in the chat. I just want to know that you're getting everything I'm saying and we're on the same page. So while I also hopefully await that some of you are going to come on camera, because if we are talking about personal branding and positioning, one of the things you need to learn to do is to be able to seek attention. Now we're going to talk about seeking attention. I know when I say seeking attention, sometimes it can be misread to mean something else, but we're going to talk about seeking attention and why it's important to you, and why it's important to your career, and why it's important to your personal life. Now, it will also be great if you can introduce yourself in the chat, just your name and what you do, so that I know who I'm speaking to, and I can also, use maybe some of your what you do as examples in the course of my session. So are we all aligned? Should I continue? Should I move on?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So I'm waiting to see the chat. I'm waiting to see the comments in the chat. And once I see the first chat coming, I'll move on. So let me know if you want me to get ready. All right, good. Eniola Ajala, nice to meet you, Eniola Ajala, software tester. Great, okay, good. Yes, this is what I love. This is what I want. This is exactly what I want. It's great to meet you, Igwe Uju. Keep the introduction coming. Keep the questions coming. So I want to start this session really with a question. So can you move to the next slide, please, where you have the beautiful Dr. Yes. So yes, good. So I want to start this session with a quick story. And I want you to join me on this quick story and give me feedback as much as possible. So let's say you are the person, you are this doctor, this person, this lady looking at us here. Let's imagine that you are this doctor, and while working in the hospital, they brought in 2 patients who you were told had an accident. And while they brought in these 2 patients, one of them was shouting, doctor, 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 elect doctor. While the second patient was saying, doctor, I feel like my leg is bruised. While the other patient is saying, doctor, I feel like my leg is bruised, in a nice, calm, subtle voice. If you were the doctor, who are you going to instinctively want to respond to? Is it the one that was shouting your name, doctor, my leg, hey, my leg? Or the other person who is speaking really nicely in a very subtle voice, doctor, it seems like I have a broken leg. It seems like I have a broken ankle. Who are you going to respond to? Miracle says, the screaming brother, or more the screaming one. Okay, great. So now, I keep the responses coming. So the thing is this, the shouting guy. Now, I need to state that the shouting guy may not be the one that had the most wound or the most injury. The shouting guy might be or the shouting person might be the one that just had a slight injury. But because that's the person that raised his voice and called your attention to it, that's the person you may likely want to attend to first. Maybe when you get there and discover that the person is badly hurt, you may now want to go attend our school is severely hot. Who is not really shouting, right? But what I'm trying to say is the fact that you are more likely to, go towards a person, but seeking and screaming for your attention. Why is this important? In the world where we live in, a lot of things is battling for our attention. A lot of things is battling. Obscurity is your greatest enemy. And I need to state that it's even a bigger enemy ahead of not having money or opportunities. Like I said, I like to have an engaged class. So it would be great to, if there's anything that makes sense to you, drop it in the chat. Let me see now. I want to really see the feedback and be sure that you're getting the point I'm making. So like I said, ahead of not having money, ahead of not having opportunities, one of the biggest challenges you have, I don't want to call it a challenge, let me call it an enemy. Your biggest enemy in your career and in life really is being obscure. It's not to be seen. It's not to be heard. Now, it doesn't matter how great you are, how good you are in terms of your capacity, your expertise, what you have to deliver. If nobody sees you, if nobody knows about you, if you're not seen, if you're not heard, you're as good as non-existent. You're as good as non-existent because it will seem like you're going to be in a room that you're just blinking in the dark. So one of the things you should know as it has to do with positioning yourself, as it has to do with positioning your career, is to know that obscurity is a bigger enemy in your career than not having money and not having opportunities. So if there's any enemy you should pursue or anything you should try to address, is the fact that you are obscure, is the fact that you are not seen, you're not being seen, and you're not being heard. That's one of the facts I need you to know about attention. The second fact about attention is the fact that money and opportunities follow attention. That's the next slide. Money and opportunities follow attention. If you look at the world around you, you would agree with me that the people that gets the most of opportunities, the most of money, if it's a business, the people that get the most are the people that are seen and heard. Now, the thing is this, these people may not be the best at what they do. They may not be the best at delivering that services or that product. They may not be the best, but if you're the one that is being seen the most or being heard the most, they are more than likely to be the one to get the most opportunities and, of course, money. So what I say here is this, another fact of attention, of seeking attention, is the fact that money and opportunities follow attention. So when I talk about seeking attention, it's something that you've got to do deliberately. It's something that you've got to. Can you hear me, please? I see someone saying he or she lost audio. Please let me know if you can hear me.
I think you need to check your microphone because I can hear him loud and clear over here.
Okay, great. So the first fact I said is obscurity is your biggest enemy. And the second fact is money and opportunities follow attention. Follow attention. That is why I also want your attention here. Okay. The next fact about attention is that people do business, buy and share opportunities with people that they know, they like, and they trust. Do you agree with me in this statement? Do you agree with this fact that you do 100%. Business with people that you like, that you know, first, that you know, that you like, and you trust? You see, the thing is this, people cannot trust you. People cannot trust you and give you opportunities if they don't know you. That's a fact. They cannot trust you and give you opportunities if they don't like you. But you see, they can't like you if they don't know you. They can't trust you if they don't like you. So all of this is connected. No matter how good you are, no matter how much of value you bring to the marketplace, if people do not know you, you cannot be given opportunities. People cannot give you job opportunities. They cannot give you business opportunities. And it's a fact of life that people do business, engage with, share opportunities with people that they know, they like, and they trust. So if there's anything you can take out of this session, I mean, if this session decides to end by now, these 3 facts is something you can take away, and it's something you should constantly live with, and it should be part of your mantra. 1, obscurity is a bigger enemy than not having opportunities. 2, money and opportunities follow attention. And 3, people buy and do business with people that they know, they like, and they trust. Now that brings me back to my earlier conversation, the art of seeking attention intentionally. Even though when we talk about seeking attention, there's this negative interpretation when we talk about seeking attention, like this person is seeking attention. This person is overly seeking attention. But the truth is this: if you do not intentionally seek attention for your brand, for your business, for what you do, you will be left out of opportunities. You're going to be left out. And there's really nothing about positioning yourself, because if people don't know you, if people don't like you, if people don't trust you, nothing is going to happen. So I can summarize this session. If I end the session now, I'm not ending it, but if I end the session now, I can summarize it by saying that you should put in your consciousness that you've got to seek attention intentionally. It's important. Your business, your career depends on it. Your career depends on it. Your next career opportunity depends on you being seen, depends on you being heard, depends on people trusting you. But trust is never going to come if people do not know you, if people do not like you, and of course, they can't trust you if they don't know you and if they don't like you. So with that being said, there are 3 questions I want to ask you. 3 questions I would like to ask you here. Now, the first question is, how bad do you need to grow your business or your career? That's a question I'll ask. Why am I asking this question? Sometimes when we do trainings like this, people come, attend, you have a speaker who speaks about something, sounds really nice, give you some tips and all. Oh, great session. Maybe at the end of this session, you'll ask, how was the session? Like, well, the session was good. Doug David, said some few things and had a hat on and all of that. But let's really bring this home. How bad do you want to grow your career? Like, this is real shit. How bad do you want to grow your opportunities? How bad do you want it? To the extent to which you want these opportunities in your life will determine whether you really will seek attention, whether you're going to position yourself. Because sometimes when we have not been pushed to the wall, there's a tendency that we will leave opportunities on the table. When things are going okay with us, when things are just all right, and maybe it's not really bad for us, we may just leave opportunities on the table. You are presented an opportunity to speak at an event. You're like, I am shy. I don't like being in the forefront. I like working at the background. And this is especially for tech people. A lot of tech people will say, I like working at the background. I don't like being in the forefront. But the truth is this: great tech entrepreneurs that are successful are usually the ones that are good at what they do tech-wise, but also are great at positioning yourself. Look at the world today. Look at the tech world. The most successful tech companies and entrepreneurs and people in the tech sectors are people that are good at what they do, but understand how to position themselves. So the thing is this: how bad do you want to grow your opportunities? If you do not really want it bad, then maybe you should end this session already. Maybe you should say, Ibirunke, thank you for this wonderful session. You know what? I really don't want it that bad. It's okay with me, so I want to log off the training, and it's fine. But if you really want it bad and you're going to be spending the next 1 hour of your time, then this should be something that you take really, really seriously. You've got to seek attention. Now, the next question is, how far will you go to seek attention ethically? While I was putting together this training, I didn't add the word ethically. I just said, how far do you really want to go? Would you go about seeking attention? But I know that we have a lot of people that would say, oh, okay, are you going to do bad things? Are you going to do crazy and stupid things because you want to seek attention? That's why I use the word ethically for people who would want to bring in the moral code. However, what I'm really saying here is this: of course, it's got to be ethical, but how far would you go to get and seek attention intentionally? Especially when you're not hurting anyone, especially when you're not doing anything that's going to affect any other person negatively. How far are you willing to do it? Are you willing to take up your phone and go live, even though you are not comfortable with it? Are you willing to try something new? Are you willing to post something new about what you're doing, to tell stories about what you're doing, your career, the results you're creating? How far are you willing to go to seek attention intentionally? Maybe I should ask in the chat. I really want to know in the chat, how far, I want to know the audience I'm speaking to, how far will you really go to seek attention? Maybe I should ask the third question, which is, how committed are you to this? How committed are you to positioning yourself? I'd like to get responses in the chat so I know if I'm speaking to the right audience, or I know okay, good. Someone say I had to change my wardrobe. Someone say very committed. Great. I love this. I love this audience. Then it means I'm speaking to the right audience. So the thing is this: you've got to seek attention. If what you're doing, if your career is important to you, if seeking extra opportunities is important to you, then you've got to really, really seek it intentionally. Now, I'd like to go to the next thing. Now that you understand, now that I know I have an audience that is really interested in seeking attention and positioning themselves, then let's go to the next conversation. How do you do this? Personal branding and positioning is really about great storytelling. Everything we do, everything you love, every product you love, every organization you want to work in, you want to work with, every person you want to interact with, you want to be in your circle, is really about what stories surround these individuals. So great personal branding is really about great storytelling. And we're going to talk, what is your story? The next question is, what is your story? What is your story? I know when I ask this question, a lot of people will say, oh, I don't have a story, or I don't know what to say. Uh-oh. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. When I ask this question, a lot of people will say, I don't have a story, or I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to tell my story. But the thing is this: every product you love, I mentioned this earlier, every product you love, every organization you want to work with, every opportunity you are seeking, everything that you think that you love to engage with, buy into, do business with, work with, is really about great stories. So if you want to position yourself, and you really need to be able to tell great stories. If you want to captivate your audience, if you want to connect with the right partners, you want to gain more opportunities, you've got to be able to captivate your audience with great stories. Now, I'm going to make it really simple here for you. How do you tell great stories? But first and foremost, let's look at some facts about stories, which I've mentioned earlier. I said, we live in a world that is full of stories. The way we interpret the world is shaped by stories, no matter the subject, whether it's money, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's love, whether it's business, anything is shaped by stories that may be factual, that may not be factual. They might be fictional. However, the world we live in is shaped by stories. Do you agree? I'd like to see it in the chat if you agree. Now, one of the things, again, I need to stress here about stories is the fact that we take actions based on how we feel about something and only try to rationalize it with logic. And how we feel about things is usually, to a great extent, determined by the stories that have been told, that we've heard, or that we've experienced, how we feel about something, our emotions. So basically, we live our life emotionally, but only try to rationalize our actions and decisions with logic. But the real reason you bought that product, the real reason you invested in that stock, the real reason you want to work with that company is really an emotional reason. You only will now rationalize it with logic and say, okay, because of this or because of that. However, the real reason, you take action based on how you feel about something. And that is what stories does. So if you must position your brand effectively, you must learn to be able to tell great stories about your brand. Now, moving to how do you tell convincing stories? How do you tell convincing stories about your personal brand that resonates with your audience? And this is what brings me to the next slide, which talks about what I call the story selling formula. The story selling formula. The story selling formula is a really simple formula. Now, if you must take any notes, please take a note here, because what I'm going to share with you is simple but effective, and it's really going to help you to be able to tell your story. So can you move to the next slide? The story selling formula is something that has like a 3 simple steps here, which I share with anyone as it has to do with storytelling. The first is called framing, the next is called narrative, and the third is called messaging. I will explain each of these, but let me backtrack a bit. We view how we interpret the world around us is based on a frame. This is why sometimes when people speak, they say things like the frame of reference. Your frame of reference is determined usually by your beliefs, by knowledge of a subject, by your ignorance of that subject. That is your frame of reference is usually shaped by all of these elements I've mentioned: beliefs, knowledge, ignorance. Do you agree? How you view the world today is shaped by beliefs, it's shaped by religion, it's shaped by your education. So if you are going to tell stories about your personal brand or about anything really, what you need to do is first and foremost understand what is the frame of reference of the audience you're going to tell that story to. So the first question you should ask yourself is, how does your audience currently think about that topic that you want to tell a story about? So let me use an example. Let us say that there's this example I love using, which is an example of women in technology. Basically, let's say women in any male-dominated sector. The frame of reference for most people is that women cannot or may not be able to deliver. Like I said, this is a frame of reference. This is not my belief, because I believe I'm a strong believer that a lot of things women can do that even men cannot do. All right. So, but the general frame of reference is that women may not be good at certain things, especially the tech space. So if you're a woman in the tech space, sometimes you have to prove 2 times or 3 times more than your male counterpart. You have to show that you can do this stuff more than, beyond any reasonable doubt for you to be given the opportunity. So when you apply for opportunities, usually the frame of reference of employers or of people that want to give you these opportunities that, oh, it's a woman, we should be able to deliver. We should be able to deliver on these responsibilities. That's the frame of reference. So if you must tell any story, the first thing you must do is understand the frame of the current thinking about that subject, about that concept, about that topic. You need to understand what your audience currently think about it. That's the first thing you must do if you must tell any story that is going to connect and that is going to sell your personal brand. So the first thing is understanding what the frame of reference is in your sector, in the industry that you're working in. What is the frame of reference? If you don't understand that frame of reference, you will not be able to tell great stories. Do you understand this point? And do you want me to move on to the next? If you understand, let me see in the chat, understand, getting it, let me know in the chat so I can move on to the next. And like I said, if you have any questions during the course of my conversation, feel free, please, to drop it as a chat and I'll be willing to respond to it. Good. Now that I see that you understand the first step of creating a great story, the next is the narrative. So the first thing is understanding what people think, the context. Yeah, I love it. Someone say context. Yeah, the current context that people think about that subject. Then the next thing will be, how do you intend to tell your story that will suggest a different frame, that's going to suggest a different context? So the thing is, you know what people think about it. The next thing is, how do I tell this story that will suggest something different? The reason the first step is important is that if you don't understand the context or the current frame of reference, there's a tendency that you'll be telling stories that do not align, that people will not connect with. But the essence of storytelling is to ensure that people take action. That's the essence of storytelling. So you need to first understand what people think about that subject. Then, of course, create narrative. A narrative will now be you telling stories about, maybe using statistics, using results, in the case of your personal brand, showing results, indicating how what you've done in the past to show a different narrative, and maybe giving examples of other women who have been able to, succeed in the tech space. Using the example of the context or the frame of reference of women not being able to deliver in the tech space. So now that you understand that, and the next step is creating a narrative. There's a third step, but for me to move to the final step, I need to understand that you get that second step, which is creating a narrative to suggest a different frame of reference to the one that is currently held by the subject, by the audience that you intend to tell the story to. Do you get to this point? Should I move on to the next point? Okay, great. I see Miracle say, yeah. Okay, good. If I get another feedback, I'll move on. Okay, great. Definitely. Great. So now that you understand that the next thing is creating a narrative, the final and the most and very important, not the most important, and the very important step of your story selling formula is creating specific messaging. Specific messaging. Clarity. You want to be clear about what you want people to know, what you want them to do, and how you want them to feel. How you want them to feel. Remember, I said everything to a great extent is about how people feel about something. The truth is, most of you that decided to pay attention to this class is only doing so to a great extent based on how you feel about my capacity to deliver this class and give you what you actually signed up for this class for. Do you agree? If at the beginning of the session, you probably feel, maybe based on what I said or how I presented myself, you feel like, oh, this person maybe doesn't know what he's saying or is not sure about what he's saying, there's a tendency that I'm not going to secure your attention. Am I correct? I want to be sure that we're on the same page on this. True, great. So the thing is this, one of the things, haven't understood what the frame of reference is, haven't created a different narrative to suggest a different frame, the next thing you've got to do is to be specific about what message you want people to know, what actions you want people to take, and how you want people to feel. Now, if we zero this down to your personal brand, how do you want to position yourself? What are the 3 things you want people to know about you? You have to be clear. What are the 3 things you want people to know about you? Now, of course, how do you connect? You've got to be personal. I'm trying to bring this home here. How do you connect to your audience? Share personal insights about your personal brand and how this relates. Okay, this is something, I see something here. I actually had a session. I had a personal branding session with some people that will potentially be contesting for 2023. Some women that will be contesting. So you see, I love working with women. So there are 35 women who will be contesting for 2023, and that's why you see politics there. So pardon my. You see they contribute through politics. However, get personal. Share insights around your personal brand and how this relates to your contribution. In this case, to your sector, which is technology, to your specific sector. How does your personal brand connect with the work that you do? How does your personal brand, now let me backtrack here a bit. Every person has a unique personal brand, a unique story that's unique to you. It could be your journey, how you started your career in tech. That could be part of your story. That could be part of your journey. And those are some of the things you should share. For instance, one of the things I used to say is that I did not start out wanting to be in public relations. I wanted to be a medical doctor. And there was a time that I enrolled, working hard because I wanted to be a doctor, because I had a science background. But something happened. I couldn't afford to continue schooling. And then someone introduced me to an opportunity in communications. And I discovered that this is something that I love. And I decided to build a career. So conventionally, I did not have the career path of a PR person, a conventional career path of a PR person. And in a way, that in itself makes me unique as it has to do with my perspective and how I view public relations and communications, because I probably would approach things from a scientific perspective, and how I interpret messaging or how I craft the messaging is going to be based with the background, the knowledge of my background or the experiences of my background. You see, that in itself is a personal story that is unique to me and different to the next person. So it's important that you dig deep and tell your personal story. Your personal story could be your journey, what is unique to you. The next thing usually that makes a great story is you describing your challenges. What are the challenges that you've experienced? Whether it's challenges you experienced in starting your career in tech, or the challenges that you're currently experiencing in growing your career in tech. It's important that you learn to share your challenges, because that helps you to humanize your brand, bring it down, and people connect with you. Because if you do not share your challenges and you only share your successes, there's a tendency that people will not connect with you. Remember, your goal, as it has to do with positioning, is really about connection. It's really about getting people to say, Yes, I see this. I connect with this person. Yeah, I see that I'm connecting with what this person is doing because I see myself in that person. So one of the things about learning to tell stories is really about being personal, talk about your personal journey. Also, learn to talk about your challenges. Do not only share the beautiful things about what is happening in your career, what is happening in your life. Share the challenges, share the downside. People want to connect. And trust me, every great story that you connect with are usually stories that have downsides. They're stories that tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, we are human beings. We shouldn't try to, show a perfect life when our lives are not perfect. We shouldn't try to show a perfect career when our career path is not perfect. So sometimes it's good to share your challenges because when you do that, you are able to connect with people. Does this make sense to you so far? What I've shared so far, is it making sense to you? Do you want me to continue? If we end the session now, have I been able to share something that you're going to take away and implement your career going forward on your business? I want to see in the chat session. Thank you, Olua Shegun Bolade. I see, yeah. Is it only, okay, let me see if this is making sense to you so far. Bamidele, thank you. Okay, that's good to know. Stanley, that's good to know that it's making sense to you so far. But like I said, I need to reiterate, it's important that you understand that seeking attention to your personal brand it's not a vanity journey. It's not a vanity journey. It's something that is needed. I say, if you are good at what you do and you do not take advantage of you being good at what you do and tell people so they can assess that goodness or that expertise, and you allow someone who is not as good as what you do, is not as good as you are, take that opportunity, you are doing a disservice to the world. You're doing a disservice to the market. You are allowing someone who's not as good as you are to provide services and take all the opportunity when you should be the one providing that service. So maybe if you don't say, for some people who are really moralistic and say, you know what, I don't like pursuing opportunities. I like things coming to me. You know, this saying that the patient dogs eat the fattest bone, that's a big lie. And you would agree with me. The patient dog never eats the fattest bone. The patient dogs eat the leftover. And if you must get the best out of life, out of your business, out of your career, you've got to be someone who seeks attention. It's not you trying to just be, to go on vanity pursuit and say things just to get any kind of attention, but doing it with purpose, doing it with intention, doing it because you have a clear goal of what you seek to achieve. And like I said, the only way constantly seek attention and to connect with your audience is to tell great stories. And I've taken you through the process of telling great stories. Now, I would like to share with you an article that I wrote in Business Insider, and that's something that I'm going to share with Ibiruke. Ibiruke, I think you should share the link with the audience, which talks about top 5 tips for African tech startups in 2021. Okay, from the 2021 edition of the Future is Female Mentorship Program. Actually, the Future is Female Mentorship Program is a PR and communications mentorship program by our PR agency designed exclusively for African female tech founders, contributing, of course, to the tech sectors. And of which Ibiruke is one of we are proud to have Ibiruke as one of the mentees of the program. And we have, other mentees across, 26, across 12 different countries in Africa. So this article really talked about the fact that I want to share this with you. And the tips are simple here. you should, one of the tips is that you've got to learn to describe yourself in 90 seconds. I want to see someone who would be able to describe themselves here in 90 seconds, not Ibirunke, somebody here who would take the courage based on what we have talked about here, about seeking attention and positioning yourself. Who is going to be that person that will share and describe themselves, all what they do in 90 seconds. So I wait for that courageous person. Let me see if this session actually makes any sense to you, and if I've changed anybody's mind as it has to do with seeking attention. So who wants to seek attention here intentionally? Let me get to meet you. What happened to my very committed audience? Can you hear me, please? Okay, I think someone wants to speak.
My name is Olaiwaju.
Olaiwaju, okay, great.
Yes. Okay, my name is Olaiwaju Ahmed. I work as a system analyst at the University of Ibadan. I've been driving a community for AI in the past 3 years. My major goal is to get more Nigerians out there, to get most of the jobs out there. Oh, what's it mean? I don't know.
Well done, Olaiwaju. Thanks for taking the shot. And that's it, really. If you do not learn to be able to position yourself and take every opportunity to sell yourself, then you are sabotaging yourself, really. You're really sabotaging yourself. So who's going to take the next shot? I want one more person, then we'll move on. Yeah. Thank you, Olaiwaju.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so my name is Bright Kwame Nwete. I'm from Ghana, and I work with M-Pesa Africa, helping to build one of the largest fintech companies on the African continent. I love to read. My career so far in tech hasn't been quite straightforward. Yeah, I did so many odd jobs before actually stumbling into tech. So I bring some knowledge, a bit of knowledge from sales and some too from marketing into tech. So it makes me see things in a different way compared to others too as well. And placing customers first is the greatest value. Everything we do, it should be centered on the customer. That's all, period.
Can we drop the fire in the chat session? Can we drop the fire in the chat session? Bravo. Thank you. That's lovely. Now, you see, sometimes women perpetuate certain frames because I was actually expecting another woman. Now we've had two guys who have introduced themselves. So where are the ladies? Where are the ladies? So which of the ladies saving, not to be wrong here, which of the ladies going to salvage and change this frame of reference? Because this is it.
Ladies, don't come here and clap. Come out too. Many, all of you better come out.
Interestingly, so do we have any lady here? Because come on, ladies.
We actually have more ladies here than guys. Should I nominate?
Come.
Okay, let me try here. All right, let me try. My name is Peace. I currently work as a direct sales agent in First Bank Nigeria Limited. What I actually do is to cross-sell the bank's products via telephone. I also onboard customer on digitally opened accounts. I'm actually switching a career into software testing because I want to grow in the tech world. As the world is going digital, I would like to grow and also grow with the world as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Peace. Thank you, Peace. I really thank you for salvaging the ladies. Yeah, this is where we talk about really, and I'm very It's something that's personal to me. Ladies, you've got to take your rightful places, right? You've got to seek attention. You guys need to stop, waiting for the man to speak, because like I say, you only get opportunities when people know you, when people like you, and when people trust you. But you see, none of that is going to happen if you do not rise up and seek attention intentionally. So first of all, thank you so much, Peace. It's great to meet you, Peace, and it's great to know that you're having a career change to software, to tech, and of course, at least I now know a Peace who currently works with First Bank, but who is having a career change. And of course, I've met Olariwaju, and I've also met sorry, this other thing is blocking your name. What's your name, sir?
Bright.
Your name, please.
Bright Kwame, yeah.
Bright. Okay, I've also met Bright. But you see, I'm now going to be leaving this section, right? Knowing that I met a Bright, I met an Olariwaju, I met a Peace. Yes, there are other persons who chatted, who dropped. But you see, in terms of attention, these are the people that will stay stuck in my memory. So finally, Ibiruke, you're going to share the link to that article. And finally, I want to talk about
Sure, I will.
The Agama lizard theory. Now, this is something I love talking about. Now that I've grown, I rarely see Agama lizard, but when I was younger, I used to see lots of them. Of course, know Agama lizard. If you know Agama lizard, just type in the chat, yes, you know it. Now, the Agama lizard, for those who do not know it, is a redneck lizard that usually falls down sometimes from trees, from the wall, from fences. When this lizard falls down, what happens? What does the lizard do? Let me ask, for those who say they know the lizard. When an Agama lizard falls down from a tree, gives a nod like this. Gives a nod. It shakes his head. It gives itself an accolade. It gives itself an accolade. It says, you know what? If you're not going to recognize me, if you're not going to acknowledge that I just fell from this tree, I'm going to do it myself. So there's usually this saying that people say, let other people, they use the word blow your horn or hoot your horn for you. No, if it's your own horn, then no other person should be able to hoot it better than yourself. No other person should be able to hoot it better than yourself. You are your best PR person. You should be your best marketing person. You should be your best publicist. So usually when I'm working with a client, I'm working with anyone, I love to see how much that person is interested in positioning themselves. That way I am able to work better with those persons, okay? So the final slide, one of the final words I want to leave you with is that seek attention without apologizing for doing so. Because the truth is this, nobody really will know about you and grant you opportunities if you do not seek attention and if you do not position yourself intentionally. So do it without apologizing for doing so. And like I said, I wish you the best in all your opportunities. And then a quick takeaway will be, carry out a personal brand audit, learn to know about yourself, create a backstory for your personal brand, have something written out there, have something written out about your personal brand. Who are you? What are your challenges? Bright, you said something beautiful. You have a unique experience in terms of where you're coming from. You see, the fact that you mentioned that you have a marketing and sales experience already positions you in my mind of the kind of tech person you will be, because you're already telling me customers, right? Because in marketing and sales, everything is really about meeting the needs of the customers. That means if you're creating a tech product, you will be more customer-centric than someone who do not understand the marketing or the market space, correct? So already it tells and positions you in a given light. So do not highlight all of those, even in your personal branding, in your backstory. Highlight it when you talk about yourself. Talk to us about your journey, where you're coming from. Then, of course, share stories, not statistics. Share stories as much as possible. And I explain this. I say stories, 80% of how we interpret the world is really about stories. And seek opportunities. Seek opportunities to speak. Seek opportunities. Reach out to people to position yourself. Reach out to radio interviews or people. Be aggressive about positioning yourself. Like I said earlier, how bad do you want this? I'm a young person, right? I'm a young person, I believe. I don't know anybody here is above 40. But the truth is that if we need to do better, really. Maybe for your life, for your family, if you're married, for your kids, you've got to do better. And you cannot do better by playing, just waiting for the opportunities to come. Waiting for it, when it comes, then you now take it. No, you've got to seek it. You've got to pursue it. You've got to position yourself. So seek opportunities, and when you get it, max it out. Prepare for it and max it out. Repeat the process, because it's not a one-off thing. It's something that you do over and over again. And with those few points of mind, I want to believe I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that seeking attention intentionally will help position your brand, and is needed, and it's an obligation. It's an obligation. It's a responsibility. It's a responsibility for you, for your career, for the market itself. Do not allow people who do not have good services, who do not have good capacity, to be the one taking the opportunities when you can do it. So please seek attention intentionally. It's an obligation that you need to do. All right. With that being said, I'm open for questions.
Wow, guys, if you're not clapping in that channel, I'm removing you. I am removing you. Wow. Oh my God. Wait, or is it just me? Is it just me? Please, let's scatter the chat channel. Let's scatter it. What? No, that is amazing. I did not know that my notepad would feel like this. I just thought it's something I would just listen, then later I would just catch up. But this is massive. This is so everybody just using Wahoo and fire. Oh my. Please, Motura, help me screenshot the chat section. I need those screenshots of the chat section. So I'm going to track down anybody that did not comment or clap or say anything. So I will crop them out from the mail I want to send. Thank you so much, David. Wow. This is massive.
And
I don't just know how much would have paid if I needed to pay you to bring you on board. Thank you so much. I'm very sure that you have really, really changed our views, the way we communicate. In fact, with this massive 1 hour presentation, because we actually presented for like an hour, and it's quite engaging. I never knew that we have spent 1 hour together, right? And that's the difference between someone that is an expert with communication than someone that is not, right? Someone that is not, you're just looking at the time, when will this person finish? But for someone that is an expert, you wish it doesn't finish. So thank you so much for that fantastic session. We have the recorded session, so we are still going to go back, digest it. So I'm going to send 3 things for today's session: the recorded session, the slide, and the article link. So I'm going to send it to every one of you. I'm going to send it to your email address. So you have a lot to eat and consume this night, and to any other time you want to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you. So there's some questions in the chat section. So in case you have asked your question before, please, you can just copy and reshare it, please. So Bamidele asked that, how does a person not very okay in public space adjust to putting themselves out there, especially having a lot of your business on social media public space? This was a pick me up tonight. Thanks for this. So, I I think I was in that space before where, first of all, you're not a public person, but you want to get out, right? You want people to know you, want people to know what you do. You want to be out there. I want people to know about what you do. So how do that person, how do they get there, right? Of course, I know you mentioned that, sorry that I'm saying one or two things about what you said. I know you mentioned about, crafting your communication right, using the communication framework and all, but did they just post and expect that, oh, gradually I'm going to get noticed? Or is there something they need to uniquely do to help them get to that position of, to that public space?
So the first thing I usually say, as it has to do with positioning yourself, is the questions I asked earlier, which is, how bad do you want it, right? Because sometimes if you don't want it really bad, no matter what someone tells you, or no matter what someone says you should do, if it's not really something, it's not something that you want it badly, then you may not take the needful actions, right? So that's the first thing. It's really about the mindset here. The first thing is, how bad do you want it? How important is it for your brand? How important is it for you to position yourself? If you can answer that question, you are 80%. You've 80% solved the challenge of putting yourself there. Then the next, obviously, if you really want it badly, the next will be, how do you do this? Start really with, of course, you're going to start small and start building and doing gradually. How do you first craft your story? You need to have a story. You need to have something that you are putting out there. So who are you? Who do you want the world to know you about? What do you want the world to know about you, right? You have to be clear on that. Then one of the tricks I also give is the fact that document your journey, because sometimes there's a challenge of you need to write a story, you need to write those content for your social media. You don't have all of those time. You don't know what to say, all of that. Document your journey. If you are honest with yourself and honest about your journey itself are great stories. There are elements of great stories in your journey, your career journey. Like right now, you talk about where you're coming from. Trust me, even talking about your journey, when you were in your career path and all of that, that in itself, it's a story that you can document and talk about it. When you were in marketing, this is what you used to do. This is what you thought about tech. This is how it's now different. Now that you are in tech, it's now different. You see, there are lots of stories you can generate from documenting your journey or documenting your day sometimes. Like you're doing something, you are working on a solution, you're working on something, you share stories about it, you share the challenges about it. All of that can form part of your story. Your goal really is to connect, right? But you're not just sharing any kind of story. You're sharing it with a mind to position yourself in a given light, because you want people, like I said earlier, how do you want the world to see you? Now, how you want the world to see you may not necessarily be how you are internally, but like I say, in the world that we live in, some people usually say something. The last time I spoke to some people, they said, there were some people who said, I'm an introvert. So I don't know how to I'm an introvert. I don't know how to meet people or speak or position myself. But the truth is, that's a tag. That's a tag that's trying to define you. I mean, when you are really hungry, permit me to use this example. If you're really hungry and broke, brokenness does not know whether you're introverts or you're an introvert or you're an extrovert or when it's really hard, you would take the needed action that you need to do. So really what I say is be whosoever you need to be to achieve your objective. If it's a case where you need to be extroverted, you need to go out, you need to speak, learn to talk. If it's a case where you need to be withdrawn, you need to watch, then be that person. You're not an introvert, you're not an extrovert, you're a human being that need to understand how the world works and align yourself to how the world works. So one of my favorite animals, really, that's my personal animal, is a chameleon. And the reason for that is the ability to adapt, the ability to adapt to environments. You've got to be able to adapt. If you need to be outspoken, be outspoken. If you need to be reserved, be reserved. But do it intentionally. not because that is who you are. So if you need to be outspoken, do it intentionally. If you need to be reserved, do it intentionally. I don't know if that answers your question. Enough.
On his behalf, I think you have answered. But Bamidele, does that answer your question?
Someone say, Baba Prayers, yeah.
Wow, this is like even your answers alone is enough for an article. Wow. Okay, no more question in the chat section. I feel like you are giving us so much homework that we need to take our time to really listen, digest, and rearrange ourselves, And I'm sure that by the time you start implementing all these things, questions will start coming in. And if you want to ask him a question directly, trust me, if you're finding anybody on LinkedIn, just put his name, bam, you will see him there. Of course, you know that this kind of people, if you don't even need to do for them so much, they are visible in your eyes. So just follow him on Instagram. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. No, I just want to say, the next slide, actually, my Instagram handle, and of course, Simon Media's Instagram handle. Then I have a final slide, which I'd like to share. That's my personal handle. Then the final slide is really an invitation to read some book chapters. One of the books I'm writing is The Art of Seeking Attention. Now, I decided to write this book because of the challenges of people saying, I don't know how to position myself. I'm an introvert. I don't know what to do. So I've actually started writing them. So if you go to the next slide, you will see some of the topics around this book, which is the mindset, the how, and some final words. So some things that you need to do. And so I'm inviting you, anyone who's interested, to be part of my reading club. So what this means really is that for every chapter I write, I will share it with you. What it means is that even before the book goes out, you'll have had access to the book. I want to have a community where, as I'm writing the chapter, I'm sharing it with you. You are enjoying it fresh and raw, even before I do all of the editing and I get it out there, so that I can also get your feedback as regards what each of those chapters means to you and how those what lessons you are learning from it, so that I'm able to incorporate those feedback before I have the final copy. So if it's something you're interested in doing, in being part of, you can of course send me an email to my personal email. So you can share that idago.david@gmail.com. That's the one I sent to you. Or you can also give out my WhatsApp number, so that I can add you guys to a group, because it's going to be a group actually. It may either be a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group where I'll be sharing this chapter, and you get to enjoy each piece of this, and you can also apply those to yourself and to your career. Of course, it's going to be for free. If the book is out, you intend to still buy the book, it's fine, but you'll have read all the chapters. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to having you guys.
Wow, thank you so much, David. In fact, this is so much of information, so much that are giving for free, and we really, really appreciate it. We do not take it for granted. Guys, like I'm always saying, if you're not following people that are giving you, I don't know those you are following. Just, automatically, I tell everyone to bombard him with invitation on LinkedIn, follow him, connect with him. This is also his Instagram and IG handle. Follow, and he's very, very active online. So it's not someone that you send message to and will not reply you. It's very, very active, very active. And of course, I'm going to be sharing can we have another 1 hour? Be cool. No way, let's release him, I beg. We can't keep him for another one. I'm not even going to keep him for another 30 minutes. So I will share his WhatsApp number. I'm trying to copy it, but something else is copying for me. So I'm going to share his WhatsApp number again for everyone. So once of course, you know my message. So once you see it, just buzz him so that I can add it to the group. Trust me, you will meet me on that group. I will be there. So that will be all for today. We are so grateful, David. Thank you so much. We cannot be taking up. So guys, the best way for you to appreciate him like this, aside from following him, write comment, right? Hashtag him, at Idagu David on IG, on Twitter, even if you're on LinkedIn, please write comments. Tell us about, I would have asked you guys, tell me what stood out for you this evening. But because of our time, I don't want to keep you more waiting, but go on social media, on LinkedIn. In fact, this is the best way to even start, right? So go online, write something that stood out for you this evening, something you learned that you feel you're going to work on, right? Write about it. Tag him, tag myself, tag Simon Media, tag Testify Limited, and we'll help you to retweet it. And gradually your post just started getting that audience that you need, right? So please do well to let's show love, okay? Let's show love. Some of you are sending me voice notes. Go and write it. Don't send me voice notes. Well, anyway,
everybody who of course tweet at me. You can share, like I said, your feedback, how this session is for you, what I think you learn. Then also tag me. I'm going to retweet it. And like I said, you've got to intentionally put yourself out there. And please do not apologize for it, because it's an obligation that you have to the world. And that's how I see it. And that's how you should see it.
True. So please, guys, let's go and bombard him this night with so much love, and thank him for it. So thank you so much, David. Let's release you now. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, it's been an amazing 1 hour, 20 minutes spent together. And we do not take it for granted. But of course, tomorrow, we have 2 alumni speakers that are going to be speaking with us. And we have just 2 days left. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, David. Thank you so much, and have a great day. All right, so everyone, thank you. Please, let's follow him. Let's comment, tag him. And see you guys tomorrow, same time with the same link. Bye.